gaming classic world champion, player one, Johnny Cass.
And we are recording right now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Gimmick Table podcast. I am your host, player one, Johnny Cass, as it says right here on my gear. And I would like to introduce everybody to my first guest on the podcast, Tashara Dway-Nic Lee. This person has recently did a project doing a Ben Hurst documentary, which is who was the story maker for the Sonic SatAm TV series back in the 90s. The reason why I brought this person on here is because I believe that this, in my opinion, has to be brought to light. Being as my character, my persona in wrestling and in the gaming convention scene is loosely based on pop culture from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. So I want to give a warm welcome to Tashara to the show. Welcome, and how are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing great. I am very happy to have you on as a guest. This is actually my second episode in the series that I started, and it's crazy to think that this is just my second episode. I have a very special guest here that worked on something that gave me a little bit of closure that I've been waiting about 20 years, 25 years to have. So that's pretty special to me. So let's get on with this. So the first question that I have is, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I'm Tashara Lee. I'm from Georgia. I'm a 90s kid, 80s baby, and I love music. I love to sing. I also make a beat every now and then with Sonic samples in it, and I've made a few beats and mixes on SoundCloud, Sonic infused SoundCloud mixes, and I've always been singing in the chorus, and wearing Sonic stuff and collecting Sonic stuff. Been a Sonic fan since I was like 7 going on 8. So yeah, that's a little bit.
Okay. Did you ever watch or get into any of the Sonic cartoons back in the 90s, I assume?
Yes, I did. Saturday Morning Sonic. That's my favorite show to this day. Yeah, I got into adventures later on when I was in like 6th grade because I didn't know about it yet, but I grew up getting up on Saturday morning to watch SatAm Sonic.
Yeah, I remember back in the day when I was growing up, when I was about 5 or 6 years old, going on 7 or 8. There was this program on the USA Network called something Extreme Team.
Action Extreme Team.
Action Extreme Team. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It had like Sonic. It had Super Mario Brothers Super Show, Street Sharks, I believe Sailor Moon and Mighty Max, and maybe a couple of others that I can't remember off the top of my head. But those were like one of the best lineups that I was able to watch when I was a kid before I went to school. And
me too.
Sonic SatAm was one of the most one of my most favorite TV shows to watch, just because, you know, going from playing the games from when I was 4 or 5 years old all the way up, I still play the same games to this day because they never get old. But watching the Sonic the Hedgehog SatAm show was leaned a little bit more, in my opinion, to the sorry about that. Leaning towards like a little bit of the darker side of Sonic. That's kind of what it felt like to me, and it actually showed like how Sonic could really be, like, you know, a little bit in the real world, taking care of stuff, you know, risking his life to go find out what's going on in the scrapyard, what Dr. Robotnik's next plans were. And it had that little bit of a darker side to it, which drew me in a little bit more. I'm going to go mute my phone because it's going crazy right now. I'm sorry. I got a lot of people trying to get a hold of me.
Okay, that's fine.
But yeah, that's one of the things that drew me to the SatAM show. And it just blew my mind with how amazing that could be. And it really taught me, like, you know, life isn't always rainbows and cupcakes. There's
Yeah.
really bad people out there, and sometimes someone needs to stand up and take a stand towards that. That's what
Yeah.
that show taught me.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's too bad that we never really got a third season. And I had no idea, absolutely no idea whatsoever, that a third season from the story writer was in the process of being made. We pretty much got half of the story done with concept ideas on what direction they could go with, which was truly astounding in my opinion. And
Yeah.
it's this documentary that you were a part of that kind of like showed us what could have been. And the story details, they get really detailed, and with drawing, even with talking about it, drew me in, wanting to know more, in hopes that, wow, maybe somebody can do something with this.
Yeah.
um, I hope that's still a possibility, and I really hope there's a future out there with you being a part of it, because the voice that you did for Sonic blew my mind with how close and how accurate it was with the original, with Jaleel White's.
Thank you.
So
He's my favorite Sonic to this day.
right, yeah, it's still mine too. It's still mine too. So this next question is, tell us how you became a fan of Sonic.
Whew. Huh. Well, I was at a friend of the family's house, and he was playing the Sega. And when you're a kid, everything feels way bigger than it probably really was.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
it was like a big room, and the TV was in the middle of the room, and it was dark. So it was like one of those commercials or whatever. I think Sega had a commercial like that where the TV was glowing in the middle of the room, and it was dark. It was literally like that, and I saw Sonic on the screen. I don't remember if it was Green Hill or Emerald Hill, Sonic 1, 2, but I was mesmerized by the colors, or something about it drew me in. So I went over to Mama, and all I said was, "Look, Mama." And she said, "Don't worry, you're going to get it." I didn't even ask for it. So it's almost like I just slipped into it somehow. So I started, I guess, when I got Sonic 2, it was late 93, 94 for Christmas. It was a Sega Genesis bundle. And yeah, I was probably watching SatAm before that. I think it came out that fall. But yeah, I guess I didn't hear how Sonic spoke yet, and already was drawn to him. And then I got the game, and I heard him speak on the SatAm, but I don't think I heard it back when I saw the friend of the family playing it. But I was already drawn in. Later on I heard him speak and then got the game. So
Right.
yeah, I've been a fan since I was 7 going on 8.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, that's a great story. I have something similar like that to the first time of me um, uh, seeing Sonic CD for the first time on the Sega CD-X. We didn't have the actual Sega CD attachment until the Sega CD-X released, and I thought that was a legitimate like portable CD player at first, and then I
Yeah.
saw it being hooked up to the TV, and I was like, man, that's really cool.
Yeah, they
And
were
and
very
me knowing that it's another Sonic game, I begged my brother to play it, but he would give me the controller that was unplugged while he was playing. So I was sitting there thinking that I was playing along with him. But I'm sure, all younger brothers or younger siblings, had that similar experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was awesome nonetheless. Sonic did indeed touch a lot of our lives. It's like, almost like, I don't want to say it's a cult following, because there's still big fans out there. It's mainstream as
Yeah.
well. I mean, look how well the movies are doing.
So
Um,
proud of her.
yeah, yeah, but I mean, especially when it comes, I guess you could say that there is still a cult following for like the older generational stuff, and I
Yeah.
wish Sega would realize that. I wish they could do something with this, knowing that there's a lot of fans out there that still, have hopes in doing something with the older Sega Sonic games. Look what they
Yeah.
did with
And
Sonic
characters.
Mania,
Yeah.
right? And then look what they did with the Sonic collection that came out once they released everything on one disc or in one collection. Like the numbers are there.
Yeah.
I think they just need like a little bit of some sort of like a boost, or maybe one of those internet what do you call it, where everybody can go vote on whether or not if they want it to be done or whatever. I'm having a brain fart at the moment, but
No, that's
maybe do
fine.
something like that, and try to get
Yeah.
their attention, and maybe doing something along those lines. What I think should happen, and I think would make the most sense, and I think would give Sonic a different perspective, and I think would be a little bit more enjoyable for the older generation along with the newer generation.
Hmm.
Are you familiar with Telltale Games?
Yeah, I think I saw it on my Sega Saturn at the beginning of Sonic 3D Blast.
The Telltale Games is a game studio development company. They made the
Was that
um,
Traveler's Tales? I'm thinking Traveler's Tales. I'm sorry.
oh yeah, that's all good. It's all good. But Telltale Games is a gaming company slash developer company that made games such as The Wolf Among Us and the Walking Dead games as well. It's more or less story based driven, so there's less like action or stuff like that. Uh, I feel like it would be better way to present like the Sonic SatAm season 3 if they decided to do something in a game series with something like that with Telltale Games.
Hmm.
Simply because I believe the storytelling would be more important than actual gameplay. Although there would be certain aspects of the game where you'd have to do the gameplay and stuff.
Yeah.
I think a mixture of both of those would go a long way, especially with treating the original generation that grew up with the series along with the games. But
Yes.
that's my opinion. Hopefully, someone out there will agree with me or
Well,
see it from my point of view.
I'm
Um,
not sure if I know what that particular game is though, but I do agree with tying in the classic fans because I mean we do like modern stuff, but it's also something I'm not sure what it is missing, and I just feel like it would be awesome to tie in some of that stuff from the OG era, and still it is a way to do it. It's a way to do it, including bringing back old characters like the Freedom Fighters.
yeah, that would be. You know what? I had no idea in Sonic Spinball that they had some of the Freedom Fighters in that game. I had
Mhm.
absolutely no idea. And one of my buddies from Florida, he pointed out, he was like, "Yeah, if you go back and you look at Sonic Spinball,
Mhm.
Sally's in there, Bunny's in there, Rotor's in there." And I realized, like, holy crap, it's true. So that was something I found out 20 plus years later. I never really beat
Mhm.
Sonic Spinball, but
Me either.
yeah, I had fun with it. I had fun with it. I won't lie.
Yeah.
All right. Third question: Have you ever heard of the unreleased game based off of the SatAM series called Sonic 16 for the Genesis?
I don't think I've heard of Sonic 16. I've heard of Sonic Mars. I don't think so.
Okay, so what that was is it was a game based off of the SatAM series that was in development, and it was I believe it was 1995 where they brought it to the Consumer Electronics Show (CES), and it was shown off there to um, I believe investors and people that were able to attend that show. It somehow got recorded and then released on YouTube. So if you get a chance or a free minute later on, and you get curious, go check this out. It's truly amazing, and it's something that I really wish they would have continued building, because this game was a
Mm.
completely different Sonic game, and had, I believe it would have added a little bit of RPG elements into this, because that's
RPG.
what I kind of felt like when I saw it, if that makes sense. And it was just something I believe that could have told more of a story
Is
as
it
well.
that
Even
game?
though, huh?
Is it that game? I'm sorry. That game where it looks like they basically animated Robotropolis and it's a spy eye floating around and Sonic's like tipping around and stuff.
Yeah, and he's hiding behind stuff. Yeah,
Yeah. I thought that was yeah, I've seen that before, I believe. Yeah.
right.
I have an image before, the title. I remember the visual more so. But yeah, Yeah, I think if they could also add on, make sure to add in the speed elements and stuff, because I think that's where some people got thrown off. Like they thought it was going to be, it was going to be too slow for him or something. Nah, it's a way to do it. I want to see that. I wish I could have seen the finished product, what that would have been like too.
Yeah, yeah, me too. So what people are doing now, as well as I don't know if you're familiar with Resident Evil.
Hmm.
Um, Resident Evil 1.5 was the unfinished project of the original Resident Evil 2 and what it should have been. That game was apparently trashed and in development hell until it got released on the internet. And a group of independent developers took that game and are currently working on that to bring it 100% back to life and to release a version of it that's fully playable and compatible with the PS1. And they are so close right now to making that complete. Hopefully down the line somebody will find the the prototype to Sonic 16 and work
Yeah,
on that to kind of breathe life back into that and release it to the public. That would be awesome and
yeah,
amazing within itself, in my opinion.
it would.
That's something I would absolutely love to see.
Mm, I agree.
All right, we'll move on to the next question here. Uh, how did you come in contact with Jake to be a part of Ben's documentary?
I believe it was when I used to be on Twitter. I think he came up into my my messages and asked me. It was a while back. I think though that he reached out, I think. And I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And yeah, SatAm historian, he did his thing with that. I even got emotional at the end watching it, the finished product. So, yeah, I see what you mean by how you felt that closure. And I was
Yeah,
honored to be a part of it.
yeah. Have you gone back after you did all the recordings for this and watched the whole thing from start to finish and just see your work play out and just kind of live in that moment, knowing that you did something great, something like this, which I'm sure is like a dream come true for you. And
Yeah.
just kind of sit there and like, man, I did that. I was a part of that, and I was
Yeah.
asked to be a part of that. That had to have been an accomplishment.
The
Um,
first time I watched it, yeah, it's still a good feeling.
that's awesome. That's awesome. And I believe I still believe that there's more people out there that do not know about this documentary that need to watch this so they can get the same closure that I did. And I promise you, you will feel the same way that I felt once you
Mhm.
get towards the ending. It is worth it. But I
Yes, it is.
suggest everybody watching it from start to finish, just so you get a full understanding of what happened with season 3 and the concepts, the ideas that they had for season 3 was just
Mhm.
amazing. I had no spoilers intended, but I had absolutely no idea that um, what's the computer's name again? I'm sorry,
Nicole?
Nicole. I had no idea Nicole was a real person before.
Yeah,
I
that was
like
deep.
literally, I had no idea. And then the storyteller that made this the whole SatAM cartoon series pretty much confirms that's what happened. That's who Nicole was.
Yeah, that was deep.
And I'm not going to tell anybody what happens or whatever. They have to
Mhm.
go find out. But it's just it's the storytelling and the ideas that they had, and then the complete ending to season 3. It's just it's awesome. It will touch you. It will touch
Mm,
your childhood pretty much, and give you that closure.
true.
Um, we'll move on to the next question. Have you heard of the fan-made Sonic team from season 3?
Yes, I've heard of them. Yeah, I believe I
And
follow them.
yeah, that's awesome. Um, have uh, have they ever reached out to you or noticed you in any way on YouTube or from the documentary about you playing Sonic?
Well, I used to have an old Instagram account, and somehow I got them to hear my impression over there, and they seem to really like it. But I think they've already casted their Sonic and stuff, so I didn't get the audition or whatever to try to get it back
Yeah.
then in time.
Well, you never know. I mean, you never know what could happen in the future, and I'm very, very hopeful for you that someone out there that's working on a project or wants to do a project that's a little bit well known in the industry may reach out to you and want to have you be a part of their show. And with the Midwest Gaming Classic giving me an opportunity back in 2019 to take their ball and run with it, i.e., right there.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a part of my job to kind of like pass that on to other people and help shed light on their talents and their abilities as well. Because I believe after watching that documentary that everybody involved
Hmm.
should have something to do with that series or
Yeah.
something that ties into that.
Yeah,
Uh,
I agree.
yeah. All right, next question is: has anyone from the Sonic team ever, I think you kind of already answered that, ever reached out to you to play the role of Sonic? But like you said, uh, you had an old Instagram account and they heard your voice and they were
Team
possibly
season 3.
interested, but they never really reached out.
Yeah, Team season 3, I believe.
Yep, yep,
Not official Sonic team, but
yep. All right, we'll go on to the next one. And what is your ultimate goal with this unique and special talent that you have?
well, I was hoping that Sega could just, I was trying to get their attention to see if they can get classic Sonic, give him his voice back. And whether hopefully if they could get Jaleel White to reprise the role in some way, and that would be awesome. My childhood would be happy. But then if he couldn't do it for whatever reason, I mean, I definitely wouldn't mind doing it. I just would hope that Jaleel White got his props. That's my favorite Sonic, and I wouldn't want to do anything in a way that would like make him think, oh, side eye me because I'm already doing the impression. But I would hope he would be cool with it, and if Sega still didn't find any interest in making him, the OG Sonic, Jaleel White, do the voice, or me, I would just use his voice for, one of my original characters, because that's kind of how I outed the impression in the first place. I used my original character to it was an old YouTube clip to come out with the impression. So just to give Classic his voice back, or I don't know. And also I guess to celebrate American classic Sonic. It was different back then.
Right. Right, and I believe that that there you should always have that option there because you're always going to have like as long as we're still here, you're always going to have that
Mhm.
classic Sonic fan that wants to have that classicness back, to have that
Yeah.
feel, to have that sound, to have that look, to have that cockiness of Sonic,
Yeah.
in that same way that we grew up with.
Hmm.
Like I was saying before, you had Adventures of Sonic. I didn't talk about Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, but I'm including it in with what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and then you had uh, just Sonic the Hedgehog, which is now called the Sonic SatAm
It's
cartoon.
like
You
underground.
had the light version, which is Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Then you had the little bit more of a darker side of Sonic. And
Hmm.
that pretty much you had the Sonic for the kids and then you had the Sonic for the teenagers, basically pretty much is what that was.
Yep.
I got lucky enough to watch both, and that's kind of what taught me like, hey, this is a little bit more edgier, if you
Hmm.
will. It's like it's based on a little bit more of a reality
Yes.
and stuff and dangers that could happen. And yeah, that was really cool to have both of those there and to kind of like see how one show could be different from the other. And what's really cool is that Jaleel White voiced both versions for both shows.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he also in one of his interviews that he did was that he said that he voiced when he was doing the voice for Sonic, he was also in between doing the filming for Family Matters.
Yeah,
So that
it's one
was
of
that
my
was
favorite shows.
yeah, that was
Family
pretty
Matters
cool.
probably Family Matters probably is my favorite sitcom. I don't care what they say. I got the box set back there. So I've been a Jaleel White fan. He's had a major impact on my childhood and I guess still does.
Yeah, yeah. I'm still a fan of Family Matters, as you know, as well as the other shows like Step by Step and Full
Yeah.
House, and the stuff that I grew up with. Like I feel like that has more of a reality base than the TV shows that you have today. Um, I mean, that's just my opinion, though. Um, but yeah, it's
I just
that's awesome.
I'm still reading it.
That is awesome.
Give him his
Um,
props.
yeah. We'll move on to the next question here, and this will be the final question for the interview. Would
Okay.
you ever consider going to conventions if you were invited to host panels, maybe with your castmates from the documentary, and even maybe the creator of it, just to kind of talk about your involvement, how they reached out to you, and how everything came together? Because when I watched this, this was like almost the perfect documentary for Sonic SatAm, in my opinion.
Yes, I would definitely. Yes, I haven't been to a convention yet. So I know that would be fun. I would definitely if I could if especially if I can get transportation and everything comes together. Yeah.
Awesome. That would be cool because I would definitely 110% attend the panels that you guys would hold, simply because like I was saying, this is one of the best documentaries I've ever watched about Sonic ever in YouTube's existence, and
Mhm.
it's just everything you wanted to know is legit. That these files were pulled from wherever sources
Mhm.
and the concept.
Oh, I think I had a technical
Can you
difficulty
hear
on
me?
my. Oh yeah, I can hear you.
All right. But yeah, it just seemed like everything was really well put together, as well as the story concepts, along with the voiceover work, and it made me feel like I was 8 years old again. So hopefully I can help make that happen. And if you still keep in touch with any of the original guys, or even the creator of the documentary, just hopefully if they reach out to me or if they can reach out to you to bring you guys in together to do a panel, that would be amazing. And I will definitely
Mm.
keep in contact with you just in case that happens, which I feel like is going to. So
Oh, way past.
that's awesome.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, not a problem. I feel like you guys deserve it. Like I mean,
Yeah.
maybe even do like a storyboard, story or panel that you guys um, can
It's
hear
been,
live in person. That would be cool.
I think I heard that it kind of lagged again over here for some reason. My- Can you hear me? Uh-oh. Yeah, I think it froze. Hello?
Yeah, we're having a little bit of
Yeah, I hear
technical
you.
difficulties.
Yeah, it's back to normal for now.
All right, all right. At the end of this interview, it went really well, I believe, and right on time too, as we're approaching the 30-minute mark.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, it's been a very awesome time and pleasure to have you on here on my show.
Thank you
I'm
for
really
having
happy
me.
to say that I was the first person that interviewed you,
Yeah.
and hopefully we can get you out to these conventions to take part in these amazing experiences, because it truly is. It's not just a convention, when you go to these things, it's an experience, and you guys do have fans out there. Trust me, I am one of them. So
Yeah.
yeah, with that being said, thank you for joining the podcast, Gimmick Table, and hope everybody enjoyed. All of the videos that I've talked about, you can find below me. You go to the description and click on it. Watch the documentary all the way through. You will not be disappointed, I promise you. And if you have any social medias that you want to put out there for yourself or for your character, go ahead and shout them out.
Well, I'm Dway-Nic on YouTube, Dway-Nic Past Cool on Instagram, Dway-Nic. I'm trying to remember if it's underscores, but it's Dway-Nic and the Peace Pack on TikTok. I have another TikTok, but it was given to me. It's Dway-Nic Classic Sonic. That one is, I don't know if that one's really doing much, but I'm over there too. And I guess Lemon 8, but I don't know what's going on over there. Nobody is like seeing anything I post. But yeah, those are where I'm at.
You there?
Yeah, I hear you now. What's going on?
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure because the screen went blank for a second. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
we got all that. So hopefully, if you guys out there are not following Tashara or Dway-Nic yet, you might want to get on that, because I believe that she's going to be shooting up in stardom, just like I did, and I was given the opportunity to. So with that being said, thank you so much for joining my podcast. It has been an absolute pleasure, and I
thank
look
you for
forward
having me.
to maybe even meeting you in person one day at a convention.
That would be cool. I look forward to it too. I don't know if I should say that in the impression or not, but yeah, that would be way past. I look forward to it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.